not seem like this week is of massive importance in the world of Call of Duty, but that's where you actually might be wrong. Because while it might not seem like there's a lot laid out on the table right now for what we can immediately see in the future, this week may hold some surprises and some hidden gems that, of course, we're going to let you guys know about here in this video. So we're going to be continuing on with our things to look out for within this week in Call of Duty World War II with 8 things to keep in mind. So that said, some of these things are just continuations of previous trends we've seen in the past with the Attack of the Undead update. Some of these things a little bit bigger and some not necessarily announced just yet, but they make a lot of sense that they would be this week. So with that said, let's just jump right into it. First things first, this is going to be the final week of the Attack of the Undead event. Not necessarily today, but as of tomorrow is going to start the final countdown of that timer of 7 days as of 10 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, 1 p.m. Eastern, and I believe right around 6 p.m. GMT if I'm not mistaken on that conversion for time. But as of tomorrow, that's going to start that countdown for the final week. So that means any contracts, orders, undead bribes you're trying to get, this is going to be one of your last opportunities to do so, unless they of course bring back some of those things like we saw the Winter Siege and the Resistance bribes were part of the contracts randomly because of the Twitch Prime bundles, but also thrown in the mix a couple months later. But that also means that things like collections are going to be locking up as well. So if there's any particular weapon that you want out of the 4 Attack of the Undead collections that we have, make sure you get those out of the way. Again, there's not all that many pieces to them, so if you end up opening up some supply drops you may have stacked up or saved up, and then end up getting a couple of undead bribes, you might be able to chip away at those quite a bit, and then to which you might only have a few left that only cost a little bit of armory credits. So again, if you want to take advantage of those, make sure you do so, because as we've seen with all the other events, they lock up, and even if you end up getting all the pieces out of them, you won't be able to get that final reward, even if so, after the event is ended. As for game modes, well, that's another one where we come into contact with, because this upcoming week is going to be the last time we can play around with all those game modes as well, and we'll talk a little bit about that further in just a second. But things like Infected, Horde Point, and Relic of the Undead, if you enjoyed those are going to be going. Infected, I think, may stay, but the others definitely going to be leaving as a part of the update that will take the Attack of the Undead event offline. Again, as for Headquarters as well, that's something that I love this reskin of this. I thought it was really cool, very atmospheric, and a nice little crossover thing, but that's something that will be changed as well. And again, the final thing in terms of things you can look out for being only a part of this week and after the event no more, the Tesla gun in multiplayer is going to go away once again. Now granted, that's not in every single mode, it's only in the zombie specific modes, but since they are going away, Tesla gun is as well going away with it. Next up, as of tomorrow, you can see a change in the featured mode. That's the second thing I want to talk about here at this one, because Relic won't be the main focus. Relic was a lot of fun here within this past week, and if you guys did not jump on and play, don't worry, it's not going away just yet. It's still going to be available for another week as with the other modes. But that said, Relic was a ton of fun, but this week's focus of course was on that. This time around though, as of tomorrow, once again, it's going to kind of be a last hurrah for all of the modes that we saw in Attack of the Undead, that being Infected, Horde Point, as well as Relic. So my guess is maybe they're going to implement something like a Zombies Mosh Pit, which is a combination of all 3 randomly chosen, but I also think that there will be, or maybe they don't even add this Mosh Pit, and there's only the option to play all 3 individually, like we've seen already. If you go over into the featured tab, you can see that each of those modes are still already available individually, but it would make sense if we end up getting them all thrown also into one playlist that will randomly choose one of those 3 game modes on a single map as well that you can vote on. I think we've seen stuff done like that, but the reason that makes sense is because, again, as of tomorrow, we'll see the week-long event of bonus XP in all modes for Attack of the Undead. So that means Infected, Horde Point, and Relic will all have double XP. But again, that's something that maybe they are actually applied to the individual playlist, but I think it would also make more sense to have everything put together in one single Zombies Mosh Pit playlist. But regardless, it is something that if you play any of those modes, you are going to be rewarded with double XP for the final week of Attack of the Undead. And that's something that I think is very nice. It's a final, once again, coup de grace and celebration of all 3 modes that we ended up getting throughout this past event. And honestly, I thought it was a lot of fun. I loved all of these, so I'm hoping that there is a Mosh Pit playlist so that I get to play all of them and don't have to pick and choose. But we'll see in time once again if that does happen. Next up though is that of a new weapon contract, which will be again refreshing tomorrow. Tuesday is a big day for Call of Duty if you've picked up on that, but tomorrow we're going to be seeing the Sten come back in the Quartermaster with Butcher offering that. This is actually a repeat. We've seen this one 2, maybe 3 times already, I think, in World War II, but it is one that is still to this day a great weapon that you can end up picking up. As for the details, we don't know exactly what this will entail to get it, but it's probably again going to be in line with the 5,000 armory credit cost, 1 hour time frame, and then maybe something like hip fire kills, ADS kills. We don't know exactly as always, but it's pretty much an easy challenge to do, so you're rather close to guaranteed to getting it with armory credits outright, though you're not necessarily. It still is that implemented challenge you have to do to get it. But if you guys don't have this one, it's a great opportunity to get it as of tomorrow. Now, also coming tomorrow is something that isn't normally something that happens on Tuesdays, but was mentioned in Sledgehammer's blog post, not this past Friday, but the Friday before that, before E3 happened and Black Ops 4 was the main focus of last week. So in that, we ended up seeing a little bit of a mention of weapon tunings and changes. So they said we'll be making some minor adjustments on Tuesday, June 19th. Keep an eye out for more details on those changes as we get closer to releasing them. So as it stands right now, we have absolutely no indication as to what these will be. Tomorrow is probably going to be when we end up seeing that all come out, either a blog post dedicated to it or something on Reddit or Twitter or something like that, in which we do see the changes actually detailed to us in text format so we can see everything that was adjusted. But as it stands right now, weapons are going to be tuned and adjusted coming tomorrow. We haven't seen any weapon tuning really happen for quite some time in a more massive sense. We've seen small things here and there that are kind of footnotes on different updates that are just tagged along with it, but not really anything that has been that core focus solely for adjusting those weapons. So I'm curious to see what this will be, and I'd love to get your thoughts in the comments. What do you think this will entail in terms of weapon adjustments and tunings? What do you think will be changed out? Any nerfs, buffs that you guys are looking forward to? Let me know in the comments, but regardless, that's something that you can look forward to starting tomorrow. Again, that's probably going to go live right around 10 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, 1 p.m. Eastern, as we normally see with that update going live, and it might be something that does require a physical update. I can't imagine that is the case, but other than that, it would just require you to restart your game, in which we see that with every single week's playlist update. Next up, I would imagine that we get something for a weekend warfare here starting this Friday, though it's not necessarily laid out in the details given to us by Sledgehammer in not this past week, but the week before's blog post. They gave us a little bit of a roadmap for the upcoming week and a half to 2 weeks, but it seems like this weekend warfare that may happen as of this upcoming weekend is a little bit out of that time frame. So my guess is that if there is one, we're going to once again see it sort of in a mosh pit format of all the modes for Attack of the Undead, that including Infected, Horde Point, and Relic once again, but that's something that we may end up seeing. I don't know how that'll work out, if it's something that if the entire week is double XP, maybe we also get Soldier and Division XP in that, but if that's the case and it does come out, maybe it happens like that. But keep your eyes on that one. That one's a little iffy as it stands right now. Now, the next thing, though, is one that honestly I am really expecting some stuff to come. I don't know if it will, but I feel like it just has to in the terms of timing of everything with the entire marketing window, not only for Call of Duty World War II, but Call of Duty in general. That being DLC 3 info. As you guys know, we're very close to that ending time frame of when we end up seeing DLC come out. That's, I believe, the first couple of days of July is the latest we've ever seen DLC 3 happen in the sense of releases, and we're already well past the earliest that we saw, in which that was the earliest couple of days in June. So we're still right there kind of in the middle, but as you guys know, we've seen nothing just yet at the moment other than a few leaks here and there talking about what may happen, but has been yet to be confirmed, and this upcoming week is going to push us into the third week of June and closer to the end of it then. So that's something that we still don't know anything as of when DLC 3 will happen, so I'm assuming that we're going to get a trailer maybe tomorrow, maybe Thursday, maybe no trailer at all, but just some teasers and hints here and there, and then maybe we end up seeing some stuff come out throughout the week. I don't know, but I feel like it has to happen this week, if at all. But your guess is honestly as good as mine. What do you think about that? Do you think it'll happen? But one thing that I'm really looking forward to, if it does end up happening, is either a tease of the new division or a full confirmation of the new Commando division that we've seen progressed in the game files for so long. I don't know if we've talked about this for ages, and I don't mean to keep beating a dead horse or anything, but it is something that we have seen progress on this made in the past couple of months. So to me, that's a clear indication that it's being worked on for some reason. Otherwise, it'd be a complete waste of that designer and team of engineers' time to actually keep continuing to tune and balance that of the new division. So I'm hoping we end up seeing something about it, but I don't know if we will. Fingers crossed, though. And the final thing I want to talk about here today to wrap up this video is that of the return to the blog post. That's going to be happening again on Friday, probably. And so, therefore, if you guys are like me and you love that open line of communication that Sledgehammer has between them and community, I think that's a great way to keep up to date with all things within the game. But that said, some things that I'm really expecting to see out of that is kind of firstly a little bit of a wrap up of the Attack of the Undead event itself, in which we talk about some of the stuff we've seen previously, maybe some stats here and there, just some fun info on it. But I'm assuming a little bit of a recap of the weapon tuning from what will be tomorrow, but at the time a few days earlier. Then again, I have to think that if we don't get anything for DLC 3 tomorrow or Thursday, we'll get a tease at that point on Friday during the blog post. And one thing that I'm also still really pushing for is that Prestige unlock token. Granted, it doesn't affect me anymore because I'm massive Prestige now, finally. But for those of you guys that are not, the biggest thing that I remember back whenever I was still grinding out the Prestiges was that if I Prestige, got that Prestige unlock token, I would use it always accidentally because it was the default firstly whenever you went and unlocked something, if I'm not mistaken. But there's also no sort of, are you sure you want to do that? And that was something that was talked about again back in February, I believe, so it's been quite some time. We've had no update on it. It's a very minor thing, but it's still there in my mind that I want it to come, and hopefully we get some sort of answer on that. But regardless, that is where we're gonna wrap it up here at this one. Hopefully you guys did enjoy. Let me know your thoughts down there in the comment section down below. Are there any weapons in particular that you guys are thinking will be adjusted tomorrow, or are hoping are going to be adjusted, either that be via nerfs or buffs tomorrow in the update with weapon tuning? And if so, let me know your thoughts on them. Which ones do you want to see nerfed, buffed, adjusted in any way, shape, or form? Whatever it may be, feel free to let me know your thoughts. And of course, do you think we'll be seeing some DLC 3 stuff this week? That's what I'm really excited for. But regardless, hopefully you guys enjoyed. If you guys did, make sure you drop a like down below. If you guys aren't new to the channel, make sure you guys subscribe so you don't miss a single thing regarding Call of Duty World War II, anything in particular regarding updates, news, best class setups, tips, tricks, information, all that good stuff. We got you covered here up on the channel, so if you guys are interested in any of that, make sure you hit that subscribe button so you don't miss a single thing. If you guys want to follow me over on Twitter, that's the best place to get connected outside of YouTube. Practically live on Twitter, so if you guys want to strike up a conversation, ask me a question, whatever it may be, link is down there in the description below. If you guys want to follow me over on Instagram as well, been a bit more active over there, so if you guys want to follow on that front, that link is as well in the description. But all that said and out of the way, hope you guys have a fantastic day. Thank you all so much for watching. My name is Espresso. Take care, and peace.